Hi, hello, and welcome to another new episode of Finite to Infinite in this new year. So today we have with us Mr. Maran Nagarajan, founder and CEO of Kaar Technologies, for a very interactive session. And he's going to give us his inputs with respect to how you can leave an infinite legacy in this infinite world during your finite time. Now let's go on. Hello, sir. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you, Niranjan.
Yes. So tell me, sir, how did this journey start from being an engineering graduate to dominating the SAP space in a span of 15, 20 years now? What was the beginning point of this journey? What was the only thing that instigated you to find car technologies, you despite being in the US and then coming back? Why did you leave a lush job and come back to India to start this entrepreneurial journey?
Thank you, Niranjan. It's a very profound question, very simple question, but a very complex answer. I'll do my best to respond. Mm, From my very young age onwards, I had this drive to become an entrepreneur. See, we all grew up in an era of joblessness. For example, I did my schooling from 80 to 90. So that era, if you really look, it was the peak of India's socialistic ideals and those thought processes. So the job opportunities which were available were very far and few. So always you used to hear this joblessness everywhere when you grew up. So somehow there was a deep desire from my side to become an entrepreneur. And probably my mom was also an inspiration in becoming an entrepreneur. She has done many avatars of entrepreneurship in her own capacity as a housewife. These housewives do small little things in terms of doing various little businesses amongst their family priorities. So that has also made an impact on me, and I always wanted to become an entrepreneur for sure. So that's one of the reasons why I took production engineering in PSG Tech. Because in 1990, when I made the choice, there was nothing called as computer. The only way that the word entrepreneur was also non-existent. They used to be called as businessmen. So I always wanted to become a businessman so that I can give jobs, I can create jobs, and I can also become an entrepreneur. So that's how the aspiration started. That's why I chose production engineering even over computer science in 1990. I know it's a historic mistake, but today I regret for it. But then that's how the choices were made by me in my life. I even got Anna University. I said, no, Coimbatore is the place where you can become a businessman because that's the melting pot of businessmen. So I want to be in Coimbatore. So this is how I made some choices in my life then. So early on, I was always fascinated to do business, to become an entrepreneur. And partly the inspiration is my mom and partly the context with which you grow.
Okay, so can we take that you were upset about the fact that there was joblessness everywhere?
It's big time, because it's such a common sight in 80s. If you grow up, it was such a common sight that everybody will be graduates. In a given street, there will be at least 10 or 20 graduates, and out of which only one will have a job. There will be 19 other who will be always the typical, all the movies also, if you watch the 1980 movies, you will see joblessness being the biggest problem portrayed. So that used to really hurt me. Why there should be so much of joblessness? Why can't we create jobs? Why can't we give jobs? So that used to be the motivation. And of course, you need some trigger, right? Some strong urge. So that was the motivation. And also, and after a particular point, as you asked, what made you come back? Uh, I finished my engineering. Then I was working in multiple companies. Almost a decade I spent outside the country. I saw the entire West. I spent large part of that decade in the West, and even during the college days, myself and Ratna we used to talk continuously about how to become an entrepreneur. What do we do after this college? How do we do something bigger than, larger than life of ourselves? So in these thought processes, we always stayed connected. And he was in US and I was in Netherlands. We always were in touch. And then at one particular point, as you clearly said a few minutes ago about the Maslow's. See, once you finish your basic needs, physiological needs, safety needs, security needs, social needs, then comes that self-actualization call, right? So you have earned, you're married, you have a child, you have a family, you saw the best. Whatever you have personally, what you aspire to do, you've done. And this, what you call as the social standing tick marks, once you achieve this basic tick marks, then that self actualization kicks in. And that is when myself and Ratna started having a conversation. Hey, we need to get back to our basics and we should become entrepreneurs. So I had two choices when I was in the Netherlands. Either I could have gone to California, to the Bay Area, because I had a job there. So I could have gone there, started my pursuit there. It's the melting pot of entrepreneurship globally. Or I could come back to India and settle down at the place I love the most, where I grew up, and be part of this society, and then continue my journey of entrepreneurship. I chose the later. The only reason is because for me, could I have done a bigger scale or a larger scale of difference had I started my entrepreneurial journey in California or in the Bay Area? The answer is a resounding yes. But would it have been this kind of a journey that I went through in Chennai, in Tamil Nadu, where I really love to live? Maybe the answer is no. So, end of the day, that's a choice you make and the balance you get.
So yeah, I was able to pick up a couple of insights from whatever you spoke right now. So you said, you had that entrepreneurial drive right from childhood. So I could also sense some kind of a rebellious attitude and revolutionary thinking over there, wherein, it's not so normal for a child, saying that you said during your school days, you saw people being jobless and all that. So it's actually not so normal for a child to think of starting a business and doing a business or something. So I see some kind of a revolutionary idea over there, being a rebel over there in a positive manner. And despite all this, how did you manage to handle your own inner conflicts right through your journey? Because for sure, you would have had a lot of inner conflicts when you were in a so-called steady job by not pursuing your passion or dream, or were you waiting for the right moment for you to quit your job and then jumpstart into this?
Branding that as a rebel is, I do not know. Rebel is
in a positive way. In a positive way.
Rebel is usually called it as an anti-establishment, but I don't know if I was an anti-establishment. I don't think I was anti-establishment, but you can call this challenging the status quo. So I have always been somebody who has always challenged the status quo. So any status quo is something, if I don't find it right, I always challenge. So that has been my inherent nature. So challenging the status quo is not necessarily
being a
rebel, but in a shade they may be comparable also. But challenging the status quo was always my personality or my nature. Certain natures are not chosen, right? So how tall I am, what is my skin color is not chosen. So there are certain traits that you carry with you, or it's Beckett. You cannot go and negotiate about those personality traits. So it's one among them, you can call them. And the second part is about the conflicts, inner conflicts of before you take the plunge. Before you take the plunge, what are the inner conflicts you go through? If I look at it, in my opinion, you always reach a point of restlessness. You reach a point of restlessness beyond which it becomes choiceless. Kalam used to beautifully tell that a dream is not something you have it in sleep, but which doesn't let you sleep. So it's something like that. So if some idea starts consuming you too much than normal, then that idea will find its way in a natural course, and you cannot stop that idea. So it will be a choiceless event. So it doesn't. It usually it's being portrayed as larger than strong, courageous act or a move, but it's not that. It cooks up over a longer period. It is a work in progress over a longer period, and at one particular point, you get to a point of choicelessness, and then you do your pursuit. That's how I see. Okay. So it's a natural outcome.
So there are a couple of other insights that I was able to pick up from your previous conversation. So one, you said that yourself and Ratna, you used to chat a lot with respect to like when are you going to start your entrepreneurial journey. And second, you also mentioned that, we both came to consensus with respect to, I think we've met all our basic needs, and maybe, yes, now is the time for us to jump into something. So two main things over here. I've personally seen many people sacrificing their family and relationships for the sake of something. But here I'm able to pick up something really positive, wherein someone says that I wanted to first satisfy the basic needs. And in the meantime, something else also that I could find out was yourself and Ratna being college mates, you didn't stop your thinking after college or after getting into a comfortable job. Now, what do you think kept your friendship ticking? Okay. Or what do you think youngsters these days should learn from your friendship with respect to finding a company? Or what do you think entrepreneurs who are venturing out new as partners should do so that they do something just beyond being partners and just beyond having just a namesake professional relationship? What is your take on
Again, multiple questions. The first question is about you kept in touch, and or why did you keep in touch, or how did you keep in touch?
How did you manage to keep in touch despite you both being in two different areas?
I think we had a very good college life. So myself and Ratna, we were part of the gang, part of the group, part of growing up. We were in hostel roommates, all kinds of friendships. So friendship evolves. So friendship evolves, and that friendship really sustained. Honestly, there was a connect. There was a connect in minds. There was a what do you call as a personality, complementary personalities. So we were complementary personalities. So I think it kind of worked out, and we found comfort on each other's friendship and the company. So that becomes the foundation for the next level of conversation. And both were restless about becoming entrepreneurs and something to pursue larger than ourselves. So we both were committed to that cause. So we came together. This is one. And second thing about, if you want to ask me, what is that you want to tell to the entrepreneurs about this friendship and entrepreneurship journey beyond a common minimum agenda? Nothing is as romantic as it looks from outside. Even if there is a friendship, maybe the foundation for the entrepreneurship needs you to relearn, reemerge, evolve, and you have to go through a metamorphosis cycle to emerge as a different level of understanding and different level of connectivity and different level of what do you call it? The let go and the standings of what you have should be rediscovered constantly if you want to work together for a longer period. It's the same as in a spousal relationship. You and your spouse, forever, there is nobody on earth who's made for each other, right? So it's always like your marital relationship, that it emerges, that you keep on understanding more and more and more and more of your partner. And then it evolves into a very enjoyable relationship and a journey over a longer period. That's exactly how it happens with friendship also, and with entrepreneurship also, with the partners. So there is no, it might be cliched to say that friendship is the foundation for entrepreneurship, but that alone is just not enough. You need to evolve, develop mutual respect, understand empathy, and a lot of give and take, lots of compromises, lots of adjustments, lots of space for each other. All these needs to evolve over a longer period for you to truly attain the common goal of the entrepreneurship. Otherwise, it will break apart in no time.
So what I can say as a takeaway is that entrepreneurs must learn to let go of little values that might hold them back for a larger value or for a larger cause.
Absolutely. If you don't have a common cause, why do you think partners, husband and wife, live together as a family? If at the sight of a first difference, if people have to fall apart, there is no family left in this world, right? Family is a perfect example of how, for the sake of the family, for the sake of the children, for the sake of the living together, you make compromises to your spouse, and the spouse makes compromises towards you. This is exactly the same thing which goes on organizations also. If you want to build an organization, if you want to do an entrepreneurial pursuit, there is always, you need to have the clear empathy for the other person. What is that they want? What is that you want? What is it together we are accomplishing? What is that each one is giving up? What is that each one is bringing to the table? Mutual respect, mutual empathy, mutual concern, mutual understanding. These are all very critical, very, very critical for you to achieve your common goal and common objective. If you, this is where the emotion takes over, right? When you allow your emotion to take over too much, then your common goal diminishes. So This is where you need to be rational, overcome your emotions, overcome your ego, overcome your idiosyncrasies, and move towards your common goal. And that takes a lot of work.
Okay, so as you rightly said, 2 decades or 2.5 decades back, businessman was the term, and entrepreneurship was not a buzzword at all. Like you fast forward 2.5 decades, now every Tom, Dick, and Harry, maybe they call themselves an entrepreneur. How serious should someone be about entrepreneurship? So now I think we have covered, soft skills with respect to entrepreneurship, like how you're going to interact with your peers, how you're going to interact with others, how you're going to balance your family life and all that. Apart from this, ultimately any business is about money, right? So what should be the starting point, or what should be the minimum base, irrespective of the industry? What should be the minimum base that an entrepreneur should have for starting something new? What should be his clarity with respect to saying, hey, okay, I need to sustain myself this much, and I need to experiment myself for these many months or these many years, and if it's not going to work out in these many months or years, I'm going to stop and pursue something else. I mean, how does someone balance this?
It's all very contextual, Niranjan. It's all very contextual, and if you ask me, my experience, I was very lucky in the sense that I had no family baggage per se. None of us had any family baggage. So, I mean, what I'm trying to say is I didn't have a few brothers to take care of their education, or a few sisters to take care of their life, or my ill parents that I have to take care of. There was no baggage for me per se. So, naturally, I was lucky. So in that sense, my parents literally allowed me to operate the way I wanted to, and I was completely at liberty to shape and etch my life. But many do not have this luxury. So in those contexts, it is those individual choices that which one they have to prioritize. So yes, sometimes you're unlucky and you need to take care of certain baggages before you can pursue your own passion. That's the reality. You need to reconcile with the fact. So some are more lucky than the others. So you have to reconcile. That's one part of it. But there are also stories that even at 60, people have made their entrepreneurial debut and made huge success. There are many such examples. So there is no limit to you pursuing. There is no age limit in starting your passion pursuit.
That's great. So talking about prioritization and time management, all that, you also hold a degree in Tamil, right? So how did you manage to do it? Like so late into your professional life or something, like despite being in the midst of so many things, running a company, being the CEO, from where did you pick up the time and pursue something for your passion? I mean, what picked you like that? What was it about?
I have been constantly, the word you used, right, that the rebel or challenge the status quo, whichever. So I've been constantly hurt from my childhood for being, for Tamil being treated as a second grade status. You know very well that even our movies really glorify the English speaking, even the movies or even the society, even the school, even every domain of your existence glorifies English and gives only a grade 2 position to Tamil, correct? Now, this has constantly irked me. This has constantly bothered me, constantly really put me so much into thinking, why should this language be always in a second state? You go to professional college, no, there is no way that you'll be taught in Tamil. You'll be taught only in English. We all live our life in Tamil, but then the moment it comes to, we have to do this Jekyll and Hyde. You have to pretend, act. You have to be a hypocrite. You have to put the shadow of this English constantly, and you're not in a natural state. Imagine for a guy who's born in England or in, let's say, USA. His entertainment, his life, his emotions, his love, his passion, his work, his everything is blended into one singular language. Why is that disadvantage for others? And why is that advantage for them? Is a question I've always had in my mind. This innate desire to see the dignity for Tamil that it deserves has been the major driving force for me in developing that love towards that language. This second grade treatment for that language should go. It needs to have the equal place as any other language in this world or any other leading languages in this world. So in that sense, if you look, I said me trying to learn that, me trying to understand that, me trying to put a little bit more time on that subject will be a symbol or will be more personal satisfaction for me, yes, that I have done my little bit towards restoring its dignity.
I mean, that's really great. Now, again, one more question. How did you find the ability to manage so many things? Running a company, pursuing another degree, and of course, I think you have a pet and playing with your pet or spending time with your family. How do you bring a balance about everything?
We all have the same amount of time. They say 84,000 seconds per day, but it's all about prioritization, and it is all about what is important for you. It is all about putting the 100% attention and focus on what you are doing at a time, at a minute, at a moment. So if you're able to bring yourself with that intensity for every minute of what you're living, you'll be able to make a difference in each of the sphere of where you operate, whether it is family, whether it is a pet, whether it is a language, whether it is a study, it's a self-improvisation, whether it is friendship, whether it is partying, whether it is work, meeting, it doesn't matter, or societal activity, it all is possible as long as you're able to give that intensity at that instance in each one of them and prioritize and distribute your time.
So it's about the intent that you have and what is the intensity that you're going to dedicate towards that intent, if I'm right.
Correct.
Okay. Now let's come towards the conclusion. So if there are going to be 5 takeaways that Mr. Maran Nagarajan would recommend for youngsters for pursuing their degree, who are on the verge of completing their degree and seeking for a new job, what do you think should be the 5 main takeaways that maybe you missed or you thought that, maybe if I had known this sometime back, I would have done this better? What do you think are those 5? Or it could also be a self-reflection of your own journey from where you started and where you are right now. What do you think are those 5 main things that have brought you all the way over here?
Of course, there are many, but when you try to say 5, I have to prioritize. So let me do my best.
Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of sequencing that 5, for me personally, the topmost, most important criteria or most important trait which I've held on to is not to give up. I have never given up. Whatever you're pursuing, whatever is your passion, just don't give up. Because the moment you give up, there is no hope. But as long as you stay invested on that idea, you have a hope. Eventually, you'll make it. So, over the time period, don't give up. Whatever you want to achieve or accomplish, don't give up. Number 1. Because that has all the ingredients to take you to it. Second thing is, be very, very, very inquisitive, which means learn, listen, learn, read, observe, analyze, learn, talk to people, understand. So this inquisitiveness, this childlike curiosity to learn things is a must. The moment you're shy to learn, the moment you're shy to ask, the moment you're shy or pretend that you know everything, pretend that you know, the deceleration, the decline begins. So you need to be absolutely with open-minded inquisitiveness. You need innate desire for knowledge is important. This is number 2. Don't give up. Be very inquisitive. 3, leave your comfort zone. You have to give up on your comfort zone. If you don't give up on your comfort zone, you don't get anything done. Giving up on the comfort zone can be in different degrees. That, that, that sacrifices can be anything, but you have to give up on your comfort zone. Whether it could be whatever you're uncomfortable with. Whatever you want to sleep on a weekend, fine, you have to sleep, but can you sacrifice it? You have to get up early on a particular day, fine, you can sleep late, but can you get up early on that day because something is important for you? Like this, there are many compromises in your life, many elements that you need to shake up yourself from your comfort zone to do something. When I talk about sleep, these are all small things, but then there are other bigger challenges that you'll face in your life where you have to shake yourself out of those comfort zones and move forward. So be prepared to let go of your comfort zone. This is the third most important, as I said, never give up, inquisitive, and always give up on your comfort zone. Fourth, bring extraordinary focus to whatever you do. Don't think that you can do 100 things and you can achieve success in all of them. Be very clear in selecting that one or two or a few that you want to pursue in your life. You have to be very choosy about it. And all of them are important. Steve Jobs always says this. Focus is not about saying yes to the most important thing. Focus is all about saying no to the 99 equally other important things. Can you say no to them? That's focus. So bring focus in your life. So be clear. And fifth, pursue happiness. End of the day, your mind should be happy. If you pursue happiness, everything else will be, life will be good. If you pursue, if you live up, or if you live with unhappiness and continue your journey, it hurts your body, it hurts you, it hurts everything else. So pursue happiness. You asked me for 5 takeaways, but I have one more. 6th, can I add that, Ranjan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is something I really regret in my life. In the sense, I should have put more focus on my health long before, or in much younger days, or much early on. I should have become more health focused. Because this health is something which is very fundamental to every individual. If the more the attention you give to health, the better your life is going to be. So I really started investing more energy into health only after I was 40. But I had given a choice. I think I should have put more energy into health, maintaining health and food and lifestyle much early on. Maybe from even 15, 16 onwards, I think I should have put more thinking into it and more efforts into it. That's something I would want every youngster to take as a takeaway.
Okay, thanks a lot, sir. That was a very good, nice, quick, witty, and a very good candid conversation. I think we can conclude our session with this. So that's it, people. So
Thank you.
that was a very good conclusion with Mr. Maran Nagarajan. See you again for another episode.